Do I really need a clear gesso to work in my art journal page to create some collages? Let's find out. I think that one of the best way to see the difference is to have a pair of images on one side and another pair of images on the other side glue down, and one will be primed with gesso, one will be staying without it, and we shall see how good or bad we can work around with those images. Over the years I have been using white gesso a lot, and then when the collaging, art journaling took over, decoupaging in the pages, I have been using clear gesso ever since, and I sort of nearly stopped using white gesso at all. Surprise, surprise, to be honest. But the clear gesso is my best friend, and honestly I have been saying this to you over and over again all the time, and I still get the question, is it needed? And I was like, do you know what? It's time to do this video. It's time to check it out. It's time to compare. So I hope this comparison will show us how important it is to prime your page, and also how important it is to prime your images. So we will do one side primed, one side not primed, and I think this will be just the right way to show you the difference, I hope anyway. So the right hand side is gonna stay as it is, just like that, as it is. We're not gonna do anything on it, but the left hand side, cheers my friends, a sip of fresh coffee, it's always good, right? And their left hand side is going to be primed. Now I'm using the gesso that it's no longer available, but check out the clear gesso in your local store or something like that. Now I will be making clear gesso test very soon, so hopefully I will have some answers what to use, what currently I will be using, because the gesso I'm using, it's no longer available, not available for purchase, which is a pity because it's a phenomenal gesso, and I think it's time for me to check out other brands, and I already started collecting it. And also be sure to check and follow my YouTube, because I will be testing clear gesso and matte Mod Podge. Is it the same? Is it a great substitute or not so much? I have no idea. I have 2 bottles, all of them are sealed, so I didn't really check it out yet. I have no idea. I think my guess is it's not the same. You can't substitute one over another. But this is just me saying it, which I think it's important to find out and check it out. So let's try this. My image is dry, but I decided to go for second layer. Now, do I always do it? No. But recently I have been making some project and there was only one layer, and I felt that I probably missed some spots around the project doing just one layer, and I felt that I didn't have enough of gesso, which made the project less workable, the background less workable. Is it that bad? No, it's not. But you know, when you have the grooves and edges and the barriers in between paper and paper, like, it's good to have and make sure that gesso is everywhere in the grooves especially. Now we need to dry this as well. Left side is dry, so let's start coloring. I will be using a bark color, the Inktense pencil that I have been using so long over the years, and I think it's great to see, because I've used this so many times that I think it's going to be fantastic to see how good or bad it will be. And yeah, so let's do that. So I'm going to be trying to have a little bit of play here now around the edges, and now something like that. Now this is watercolor paper, so technically it should work exactly the same way if you have glue it down on the watercolor paper. The only thing is that it may stain your paper a little bit. Let's see. No. It does work well because it's a watercolor paper as our base, So you could say, well, Marta, we don't need the actual clear gesso on top. Yes and no. When you have watercolor paper, no, you don't need to. Technically, I still would use it because I prefer that, but no, you don't have to. No. As you can tell, it is workable, it's movable, all is good. What happens if we're gonna add similar image to a regular paper? This one is some drawing paper, so I'm gonna glue this down here because drawing paper is not like watercolor paper, so I would imagine the surface is not for watercolors, it's not primed, it's not great for water and stuff like that. So we will see now, we will compare now, because that's the only way for us to learn really. So as you can tell, it's all good here, it's working well, everything is, this is not the best watercolor paper, but this is not like this is not the most important part, let's say, of that test, right? The most important is to, if we want to add a color. Now, what happens if I would like to make a color on my mushroom? Can I do that? Let's see. Can I do a little bit of coloring and making it a little bit maybe darker there? Same for here. What if I wish to do a little bit of play like that, right? And this is the primed one. I probably should say gesso. Sorry. Oh, gesso. No gesso. Gesso, no gesso. That's right. So we can just go around like this and smush it down. There we go. And it should be fine if you wish to have a little bit of darker color added, even more under our squirrel, no problem. No problem. And if you wish to have a little bit of, that's probably too much water, so I'm gonna just grab a tiny bit of tissue just to see. And that's another thing, you can do that without any consequences because it's primed, so you can change your mind, get rid of the water, get rid of the color as well, right? This is what you can really do. And usually if you don't like something, you can even change your mind. So let's say I'm adding this here and I'm thinking, I don't know if I like that, but let's see this. Same for here, maybe I wish to have a little bit of play there. There we go. And something like that. There we go. And here as well. Lovely. Now, what's the story if I wish to do the same thing here? Can I do that? Can I actually do it? As you can tell, it does sort of working, but at the same time, it is, once it's gonna start drying, it's gonna be very difficult to move the pigment around. Now, this seems to be working fine so far. Maybe the images are so fantastic in my collage books that even gesso is not needed. No, but honestly, let's see more. The thing is that I guess once it's dry you can't do much about it. Or, yeah, it's soaking in more. There isn't much movement going on. You can try, no problem. And the water doesn't seem to stick here either, but you know what, it's doable. It's doable for sure. And if we wish to go here, what will happen here if we have a bit of more? Oh, there we go. That's if you don't have enough water straight away and your watercolor paper is not great quality, look, it's very difficult to clean off and get rid of the lines. If we do the same thing here on this side, no, let's say this side, because the other one was, I'm gonna add, I can feel that I'm touching the camera with my hair. I hope I'm not in the view camera. So I'm adding quite a number of like pigment, and let's do try to clean it off. You see, the movement is so much there because the project was primed, right? You can see that you can really drag it. You can't, if we're gonna even try to do it again, like, let's say, like here, and if you would allow it to dry in a second, here you can move it even more. Look, move it more, move it more. Same for here, you can go over what's dry already, go around it, and add even more depth if you wish, and just have a little bit of play, right? Now what happens here, how much of that we can move? I think it's much harder. It's doable, but it's much harder. Let's move on, curiosity-wise, to this image, which has no watercolor background, and it has no prime on it. We didn't prime it at all. So let's see what will happen here, how good or bad it is. So there we go. You can see that the movement, it's there, but you see, you can't move it now. Unless you be super quick, then yes, you probably will move it a some bit. But even like here, I can't get rid of that darkness. It's stuck there. It's stuck there. Can I get rid of that darkness? Let's have a look. Look, I can get rid of that darkness, no problem. Because it's primed, because there is a, look, I can clean it off, nothing. This dark piece stays there. I hope you can tell, you can see. So that it stays. Can I get rid of this? Yeah, look, you can really wash off things. Even like here, look, you can literally, can you wash off from here? No, forget it. So that's one of the product that I have used, and this one is the Inktense pencil. But recently I have discovered a new love for Karin markers. Karin markers are water-based markers. They are for calligraphy, graphic design, illustration, but I have been using them for my collages and for my art journal pages because I just loved it so much, and it gives amazing watercolor effect when you do a little bit of coloring and shading. So we're gonna test out second product just to see how important is gesso ink or how not. I'm gonna turn it around because it's gonna be much easier for me to be on this side here and just color it with the marker. These are Brushmarkers Pro. I'll give you the link for them because I will be religiously using them all the time because I just love them. Now I'm gonna do the same thing here. So I will just add pigment in places and hope for the best. Same for this, that we're gonna do a little bit of pigmentation here. And let's see, I'm gonna start with this one because it's the worst. So there you go, no movement happening on the regular paper, right? On the regular paper, and it's not primed. What will happen here of no gesso? Look, there is, you can't do anything about it. Can we move the pigment now with the gesso? There we go. Now we're talking. You can see the difference. Even I waited the longest because I gave a chance to the other bad examples to work somehow magically. But no, there is no magic happening. You can tell, and look, even after a while, because gesso is reactive and it's like a primer and it's water-based, I think, is it? I think so. Look, don't quote me, you know that I'm more of a tester than knowledgeable person because I just love doing stuff with, you know, experiments. So look at it, the pigment in the Karin markers, it's the best I have ever seen. You must get them, and I mean it. I have the whole bunch of them. There we go, the whole bunch. I've tested them out on my other YouTube channel. I will be testing more the other types because they came up with the new one as well. But I just wanted to see that not only that it's phenomenal movement on the gessoed part, but also look at the colors, look how it's gorgeousness, moving stuff. Now if you go over to your face of your not look, I went too far because it's gessoed. Because of that, you can clean it off. Look, we can clean it off most definitely because it's primed. So I hope this answers your thinking, should I buy gesso? I think honestly yes, I would suggest absolutely. It's one of those must-haves, a real must-haves. It's not a must-have that people talk, you have to have it, but in the reality, no, you do have to have a clear gesso. It's gonna save your life, it's gonna save your time, it's gonna save your supplies, it's gonna make your process easier. I hope that makes sense. Now, I will be doing test on different gessos. I have I have some other jars. I'm gonna be making tests on different gesso, clear gessos, just so we know. And I also will compare, is it okay to use Mod Podge, matte, and or clear gesso? I will compare these because some people mentioned that they use Mod Podge, and I would say that Mod Podge is a glue, water-based glue sealer finish, but I have been using Mod Podge probably 10 years ago, and it was shiny back then, clear shiny. This one is matte, so maybe something changed. Maybe this is our substitute. We're gonna find out. So subscribe to my channel for more. And if you wondered where are the gorgeous animals and mushrooms are coming from, I'm gonna quickly show it to you. Why not? They are coming from our newest release of Amazon books, 2 animal books, volume 1 and 2, Animalias, and we have mushrooms as well. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the first time I cut them through. Actually, I didn't do the project as yet because they just only arrived recently, but there's 2 more books out on Amazon that they published only yesterday. I still didn't get my copies, and these are, it's called Fairies in Bloom and Backgrounds. Gorgeous fairies, background elements for the backgrounds itself, and also fabulous fairies, of course. And the second one is whimsical houses and backgrounds, and also we have plenty of houses, amazing backgrounds, plenty with flowers, so it all will mix and match. Absolutely amazing. So go and check them out. Those are also so pretty. I will be hopefully making something in the next week before, because we're going to Poland in 2 weeks, so that means fingers crossed I'm gonna make as many projects, my beautiful friends, for you as possible. But for now, I thought about making the test. I hope it was helpful, and if it was, please let me know. Let's have a discussion. Is there something that you would recommend instead of clear gesso? Do you think this video was helpful? Would you like more simple tests like that? Let me know in the comments. I will much appreciate it. But I'm gonna let you go for now. Have a wonderful day crafting, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.